Hello and welcome to National Herald, the biggest international news right now. The US House of Representatives is all set to vote on articles of impeachment against President Donald Trump on Wednesday. On Tuesday, I spoke to Dr. Partha Banerjee, a New York based writer, journalist, and labor educator. I spoke to him on impeachment, on the attack on US Capitol, and also on his life as a RSS and ABVP activist for over 20 years. My interview is right here.
Partha, welcome. Thank you for agreeing to speak to us on such a short notice. I want to ask you that as a New Yorker, as somebody who's working on labor, uh, what did it mean to you when you saw the Capitol being attacked? You went to US with certain dreams, certain understanding of what United States of America stands for. What did this attack on Capitol mean to you?
Yes. So first of all, I want to thank you for doing this conversation with me. I've been living here in the United States for 35 years and 20 years in New York only. So basically, it means a number of things. Number one, it means that there is like a very powerful group of people here in America who basically want to take over and destroy democratic institutions. And they want to basically use Trump or Trump use them to create some type of a dictatorial, autocratic form of government where there is only one leader. It's like really reminiscent of what we have seen in 1930s Germany or Italy. Basically, these people, the white supremacists, Christian fundamentalists, and fanatics, want to use the politics of hate and bigotry and racism and propaganda and lies to create an illusion. This country, America, the so-called God's country, is under siege by Muslims and terrorists and immigrants and blacks, and their white country is being snatched away from them. So they are here to save their God's country, and they found a leader who is Trump. So that is the what we have seen on the 6th of January is sort of like a culmination point, the manifestation of all of this that was happening for over a very long time. And in the last 4 years, it accelerated greatly, and all kinds of hate groups and violent groups and white supremacist racist groups, they have grown like, mushroomed all over the country. And their media, their social media, they have created all kinds of, shady online groups. One of them is called QAnon, and they have unleashed all kinds of violent propaganda and lies, and they have found Trump as their spokesperson, their leader.
I'm going to come to the similarity between what you're seeing there and what you have been noticing happening in India. But before that, I want to ask you about the impeachment. Where do you see this going?
Yeah. So the impeachment is proceedings is now largely ceremonial. Honestly, I do not think that it is going to happen so soon, because there is like today is what? Today is the 12th of January, and the 20th of January is Trump's final day in office as president. So, logically and logistically, it is simply impossible to do anything within 8 days. But it has a very deep significance. Significance is that in the entire history of the United States, since when it was established, this is the first time when a sitting president is going to be impeached twice, or going through the proceedings of impeachment twice. It never happened before. So that is how serious it is. Practically the entire Democratic Party, many independents, and even some Republicans Trump's own party, they are now agreeing to have another impeachment against Trump, so that there is a very strong message uh, on in favor of democracy and in favor of the U.S. Constitution, that this type of an insurrection, which is basically, like some type of a coup d'état that we have seen on the Capitol on the 6th of January, it can never happen again. And these type of people cannot come back to power again. Because once you have impeached the president and removed him forcibly from the office, one of the consequences is that that person cannot run for a presidential election ever again. But it is largely ceremonial. It is probably not going to happen. But just the fact that they have, this is called the 25th Amendment. 25th Amendment says that if a sitting president becomes unable to, continue his office, whether because of his health or because of some other issues, he's becoming too dictatorial and he's destroying the Constitution or doing something that is completely against the Constitution, then because of his inability, the 25th Amendment, under the guidance of US Congress, can remove him from power. And that is what they are trying to do. But they are asking Vice President Pence to take leadership on that, which is very unlikely that he's going to do.
So I have a question about this attack on Capitol. It's been widely reported that there were two Indian flags taken to Capitol, and all the people in India have been very vociferous and very vocal about their criticism. But what does it mean to Americans, especially the Democrats?
Yeah. This is like really a shame that, there were at least a few people who went there with an Indian flag. I think it is really, honestly, I love my Indian flag, and, as as an Indian, I can, basically lay my life for this flag. So many thousands and thousands of people have given their lives for this flag. Ironically, RSS was completely away from the Indian freedom struggle actively all along. They were against Quit India movement, and all these things all should be exposed right now. So they probably do not understand, or many of them, I should say, do not understand the actual value of this flag, and the fact that they are still supporting Trump even in this insurrection, or you can call it a coup d'état. It is really shameful.
Who's supporting Trump? When you say they are supporting Trump, what do you mean? Who's supporting Trump?
Many Indians living in America, they are supporting Trump. Many of them, Modi actually came to America, and in a very unprecedented way, never happened before in my 35 years at least, that an Indian prime minister coming to America and openly campaigning for the American presidential candidate. There has to be a boundary between the two. But that boundary was dissolved. So, Ab ki baar Trump Sarkar, that was the huge slogan that they raised in many different places, in Houston, Madison Square Garden, New York, and all that. So millions, there are not millions of Indians in America, honestly, but whatever the number is, many of them, a large majority of them are supporters of Modi. And even today, and I know many of them personally, even today, many of them are supporting Trump, and they think that the election was stolen from him, even though there was absolutely no proof, no evidence. It was a complete hogwash, a politically expedient thing to rally the far right-wing base. No evidence, nothing whatsoever, court after court after court, it has been completely rejected. Even the top Supreme Court in America, which is now 6-3 conservative majority for judges, they have turned it down. They think it's like a complete lie. There is no basis for it. But these people, they do not care. They think that the election was stolen. They're violent. And these Indians are still supporting Trump. And some of them actually shamefully went to that uh, capital C's march, for the lack of a better term, and with the Indian tricolor with them, which is so shameful for me. But that is the reality. These people are, first of all, they are supporters of the only, Rukmini, the only reason, if there is only one reason, I cannot even see any other reason. Only reason they are such vociferous supporters of Trump, because Trump is anti-immigrant and anti-Muslim, and these people are also anti-immigrant and anti-Muslim. They are anti-black, white supremacists are anti-black. Most Indians here in America, so unfortunately, they despise blacks. They think blacks are criminals, blacks are thugs. They do not have any connection with the African American people here in America. And that is a different discussion altogether. But here in Brooklyn, where we live, all our neighbors on both sides, they're African Americans, blacks, and we love them. They love us. And we have seen them. The very reason that Indians, we have been able to come to America as immigrants and lived our lives here is because of the civil rights struggle that Dr. Martin Luther King and African Americans have done for over 100 years. We are actually the ultimate beneficiary of their struggle. If they were not here, then we would not have been here. And but problem is that Indians, many Indians, I don't know what percentage, but I have seen many of them in my 35 years. Most Indians, most Bengalis are anti-black. So their common thread
That's
is that
ironical. That's ironical considering they are also immigrants themselves.
they don't understand the history. They don't care to understand the history. They never really studied, the history of American civil rights movement, or other civil liberties and equality struggles. They are so conservative. They're so like far right and so ultra nationalistic that they simply do not care. They are supporting Trump.
What will be the impact of this? The fact that they shamed the Indian flag and took it to the Capitol, I mean, it was an attack on the Capitol. What will be the impact of that on, our
If you can,
international, our diplomatic relationship?
if you can expose the connection between the two, the things that we spoke about today, well enough, so that in a very easy to understand language, not in an elite scholarly language, but in a very easy to understand language, in any way, Hindi or Bangla or English or Tamil or like Telugu or whatever the language is, Marathi, there has to be a way to translate it all to the Indian people, so that they understand, number one, the similarities between the two countries, what is going on, and number two, what are the consequences of what is happening in America today when you think about what could happen in India tomorrow. That has to be done in a very straightforward, easy to understand language. I do not have any reason to believe that this showing, or seeing this tricolor flags in that violent capital C's would have any particular impact on Indians living in America. Most of them, for whatever reason, I do not want to undermine them, because some of them are my friends, some of them are my even relatives. They probably do not understand the far-reaching consequences of that. So I don't have much hope there, but there has to be a way for you, people like you, to translate that in a simple language to the people in India, particularly to the younger generation. Maybe they will understand.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving us this time.
So, in this part, we spoke to Dr. Banerjee about impeachment, about the attack on the Capitol, and about the misuse of our tricolor. In next part, in the second part, we will be talking to Dr. Banerjee about his life as a RSS and ABVP member.